Hey, what's up, guys? It's a pretty exciting Monday, in my opinion. This is probably going to be a relatively quick video. It's going to be a little scuffed because I'm still trying to get used to this whole like YouTube video stuff. But we're just gonna run this down real quick. They finally released the roadmap. I'm excited. It's pretty cool. Um, with the we have April and May. I've already read through it, so I kind of at least I took a really quick skim over it on my stream when I was streaming. By the way, if you'd like to come, I stream Monday through Friday from 2 p.m. to 6 p.m. Central over on Twitch. The link will be in the description below. But anyway, onto the big important thing. April roadmap's finally here. TLDR, they told us a lot of stuff and nothing at the same time. It's really talented how they do that, but as I'll always say, it's better for them to give us something than to give us nothing at all. So we're just going to get straight into the roadmap. Biggest part of the news, pretty sure everybody's talking about it. You've probably already seen it by now by the time you see this video. Lance Master is coming in April. We'll ignore the fact that they calling it Glavier, which is a long list of stupid name changes. But Lance Master is coming in April. This is pretty exciting. I personally am waiting for May, and we'll get to why later. But Lance Master was definitely probably the most popular class, for the most anticipated class, I would say, for NAEU. So I am happy for a lot of people that they wanted Lance Master, they asked for Lance Master, so we have Lance Master. They're great. If you don't know what they are, they're a stance swapping class, kind of. Which you hear that and you might think like Deadeye, but it's a little different in the way they handle things. From what I've seen and what I've understood, it's easier to manage back and forth the stuff, because basically the way it works is your identity gauge in the middle has a bar that fills up, and as it builds up, it gives you more and more buffs. And generally, the playstyle is you fill the bar, you swap stances, you deal damage, fill the bar, swap stances, deal damage, and for the most part, that's a very bare bones way of how the class plays. I can't go into too much more detail about it because I personally have never played Lance Master, because I didn't get hands-on time with Lost Ark until our launch in the NAEU region, because I just waited out of choice. But this is really cool. I know a lot of people are definitely excited for this class to come, and there's about to be like a bajillion Lance Masters, like from now till forever. Something we already knew is South Vern is coming. With in April. I'm assuming this will probably come on the 14th, because if they keep to the same thing they did in March, March 10th was when they did the March update. So I imagine that for us, the April update, which is probably when they'll add Vern or South Vern, will be April 14th. That's just an assumption. We don't know because they haven't exactly given us dates for it. Something that's very important to note about South Vern is you must be 1340 to enter South Vern. I think this part is kind of obvious. I don't think it should come as too much a surprise that you need a decent item level to get into South Vern. All the previous continents have always had pretty decent gaps in requirements to enter. Yorn was 600 with Phaeton at 960. Punica is 1100, so 1340. I think this was just expected. So if you're looking forward to South Vern, make sure to try to get to at least a 1340 before it comes out, so that way you can take part of South Vern and enjoy the story. I also feel like South Vern is probably going to be a turn where people start getting a little more invested in the story. I haven't seen too much of it personally, because I tried to avoid like spoilers as much as I could for going into South Vern. But from what I've seen, it seems pretty exciting, and I think people might like the story a bit more when it comes to it. So this story is going to be pretty cool. General update wise, they're improving. We got quality of lives coming. We have the secret map changes. We're off, so no more scams on maps, because I've heard a lot of people have been getting scammed and stuff like that. This is a really huge change, because you can basically, when you open a dungeon, you have the option to pull all 4 maps from people. The only thing I don't know about this is whether it works with less than 4 people or not. From the reading where it says all 4 members specifically, I think this might be like a 4 member only thing. So that'll be a little unfortunate for people that run it with like 1 or 2 friends or something. But it is what it is. This chat tab settings is something that was relatively new to Korea. I think they just got it recently, But basically, your chat tab settings are now roster wide, which is fantastic. Oh, also before I forget and move on, they did mention new skins with store updates and the Fate and Power Pass. So I'm assuming that basically we can probably safely assume that Lance Master, the class coming in May, which we'll get to when we get to May, which is right here, which you can kind of already see. So I'll just say it right now. Destroyer. So basically, Lance Master and Destroyer is probably safe to assume both of them will get a Fate and Power Pass upon their releases, and then you start at 960. So we don't know what all it entails, like what extra stuff they'll give. We know there's new in-game events because we've already known there was going to be an event to take. That once the Naruni Racing left, the new event would come in. So that's new. But we don't know what it'll entail because in some of the other regions, the character, when they release a new character, it's a bit more than just a power pass. Usually they do a power pass, some sort of event for that new character, for that new class or new character you're making to make it like easier to get to like tier 3 and built up. But we'll have to wait and see. I don't think it would be too bad to save if you have a tier 2 alt to at least save some material if you're really, really waiting for Lance Master, like most people are. Because even if they do give something to boost to help boost the Lance Master or the Destroyer up when they come out, having some material, you can wait because that way you can then push that alt up to tier 3 if you want to, or if the prices spike a little bit, you can just sell all those mats and make a little gold. So that way, you can kind of set yourself up for the future for engravings, because especially engravings for like new classes like Lance Master, which are very popular, are definitely going to go they're going to spike up in price a bit. So, so if you have a chance to at least make yourself a little gold to kind of make your path a little easier, that's probably something worth trying. Let's see, improved book of coordination is mostly PvP stuff. Oh no, is this? Or is this this might be the preset. I don't know. We'll see what this is. I don't really, because like I'm thinking book of coordination is like the PvP Trial Guardian like Hell Mode Dungeon book, but we'll see what all that entails. So May we're getting the Destroyer. That's the new class in Destroyer. I'm personally excited for it. I've been waiting for the Destroyer for a long time. I know there's a lot of players that don't there's a lot of hupla on the forums about people that don't care about Destroyer, but I feel like the thing has never been that there isn't a community that cares about Destroyer. There's a pretty big community that cares about Destroyer. It's just that a lot of people in the Destroyer community also were very excited for the Lance Master. And if you had asked a lot of those people if they had to choose between Destroyer and Lance Master, they would have chosen Lance Master as a first class. Me personally, I would have done the opposite, but to me, it's on the roadmap. I'm perfectly happy with having two classes I was really looking forward to being the next two classes. A little interesting of note is that May, if I'm mistaken, mid-April is supposed to be the massive class balance / overhaul patch in Korea, and if I'm mistaken, in Korea they're supposed to be testing it mid-April and then implementing it sometime between end of April to like beginning of May. So something of note is that we might be getting Destroyer in its post changed state, whatever that may be, because we still don't know what is entailed in that patch. So instead of just wasting time speculating, I'd rather just wait to see what it is since we're so close to it. They're planning to release Volton and Descaluda, which is the first Guardian raid of the next page in Tier 3, so the 14-15 Guardian raid, in May is their tentative plan. We'll talk a little bit more down at the bottom because they have a bit more in there. But basically they feel that with the data they've been collecting, that by May, at least most of the players should either be at 14-15 or within arm's reach of 14-15. Because the issue they had with Argos, right, was not only, it's not just that people weren't at 1370, people weren't even in arm's length of 1370. Most people, like the majority of the player base was in tier 1, tier 2 of average players. And even the front runners, like people who either played in other regions or they did a lot of research ahead of time, they had just entered to tier 3 when Argos was coming out. There was just never any time to feel like you were even close to getting to Argos. Like me personally, I was in tier 3 when Argos came out. That was almost a month ago. I still haven't gotten to 1370. And I've been I've been pushing. I've been trying to go since Argos came out. So, and with his events and stuff, this week I've just gotten to 1365. So, I feel like it's pretty, I understand why players were upset of not being able to even be within arm's reach of a content that's coming out, especially when for something like Vulcan and Legion raids, which we've been told forever that that's when this game gets super fantastic, right? So so hopefully they have a good pacing down, so that way as a community we feel better. Me personally, I don't feel too rushed with it, right? Like I didn't care that I wasn't in arm's length for Argos, but I can understand if you've been like from how we've been told for so long that the game really doesn't kind of become itself until we get to Legion raids, that if you wouldn't be able to experience Legion raids when it comes out, it'd be pretty frustrating. So that, I understand that, and I kind of agree that they kind of really need to be really good. So on part of that, they're still saying they're paying attention to feedback and they're paying attention to all this other stuff. So keep checking how they're doing, see how you're doing, see how your friends are doing, and if you don't feel like things are going too right, give some feedback. So again, we're gonna just keep going now. So we have Destroyer in May. Pretty excited. Potentially could be post patch changed when he comes out. Really excited. Probably safe to assume that he will have a Fate and Power Pass, seeing how close he is to Lance Master, who will also have a Fate and Power Pass. So, we can then we'll probably end up using, you can use Lance Master, like whatever they do for Lance Master, we probably use that as like a measuring stick for how much you would need to save up for materials and stuff for a Destroyer if you are inclined, if you're like me and you're really excited to look forward to him. So, personally, obviously, I wish it would have been flipped, but I've waited this long for Destroyer. I don't mind waiting another month, especially with having a class that myself and a lot of other people are really looking forward to coming out first. Trial Guardian raids. These were the Challenge Guardian raids that you've heard people talk about. Will be coming in May. Trial Guardian raids are a once per roster per week event that you do. It'll be 3 Guardians that one will rotate each week. One will rotate in and another one will rotate out. Like one will rotate out and then one will rotate in every week. So you always have 3. Each one gives their own rewards. And this is like equalized or normalized content, whatever terminology they want to use. Basically, it'll use, if you go to your book of coordination, if I'm mistaken, which most people haven't been into, like, if you don't do PvP at all, which, by the way, just a little side note, you should at least try to do some PvP and get to tier 1 because it's another way to get materials. But I know that's not everybody's thing. But basically, in your book of coordination, there is a tab that says Trial Guardians. So it'll use that. It'll be, so you might want to look into that. I think right now it's locked. I don't think you can do anything with it yet, but it's something worth noting of. It's different because the bosses have different moves. So for instance, I said it on stream earlier, but you've already fought some of the challenge guardian raids with their new patterns. Ernal specifically, I can attest that you have fought the challenge version of Ernal already in the guardian raid event. If you pay attention, between now and like May, when you do the guardian raids, well, between now and basically, if you pay attention to your guardian raids, if you look in the top left hand corner where it has like the timer and then it has the name of the 3 guardian raids you fight, anytime you see something that says like Ernal Plus, that means you're fighting the challenge raid version of Ernal. And if you want a refresher for when you did that, if you ever fought Ernal and he started like flopping backwards, spinning left, right, like, barrel roll over things, and you went like, what the hell is going on? That's the challenge mode of Ernal. That's his challenge mode move set that you have. So that's what they mean when they talk about new abilities and new stuff that a little differing from a normal Guardian raid. It's a little stronger. It has more different moves to try to keep things fresh. So, but this is a really big source of materials once a week. Depending on what character you do it on will dictate what rewards you get, like from the chest, if I'm mistaken, and how it works. So if you want to, you can use it to boost tier 2 characters to tier 3 really quickly. At the same way you can use it to boost tier 3 characters up deeper into tier 3, right? So this is something people have been asking about for a while. So it's really cool to see on the roadmap that we're getting it. I don't know if it's a logistic thing. Well, actually, I'll talk about my thoughts on this stuff towards the end. Let's just get through most of these. They don't go too much into specifics. They do say there's going to be another batch of quality of life changes in May. I think All right, so here we have it. So including the ability to check daily and weekly content in game, fantastic. People have been asking for it. UI updates. I think this is probably head and back attack markers. If we don't get those in the April update, improved party finder, party invites, updated loot dismantling. They have they changed some features for the auction house stuff, and then whatever they call a few fun. Oh, and a few fun features like new hairstyles and summoning mounts. Great. I wish they were a little more specific. I imagine the reason they're not much more specific than this is simply because maybe they're still trying to iron out what update things they can get done in time to add to our version that they don't have on the engine already. UI updates, I'm assuming that potentially could mean anything with like head and back attack markers to party frames, better party frame customization, stuff like that, where you can move them around and stuff and like declutter your screen and all that kind of jazz. So we'll just wait and see what this is. Here is the tentative schedule. Again, focus on the tentative. You know, this is not set in stone because this is part of what they're saying that they want to, you know, at least have people within arm's reach of getting to this content when they release it. You have Descaluda and we have Volton normal and hard mode. Some people are probably going to complain because normal mode is 1415, or I'm saying hard mode is 1450 or 1445, one of the two. There's probably going to be people that complain that they can't get into, you know, that why did they do blah blah blah, why didn't they split it up. As far as I know, all the other regions always launch with normal and hard mode. That's just how it is. It's just the way they've done it. I don't think there's a problem with it. If anything, to me, the normal, you just treat normal and hard mode like normal and heroic in World of Warcraft. It is how it is, you know. That's just the way things go. Yeah, you have to be 1415 for normal Volton. This is they're saying that this is going to be the first. This is going to be a big shift. First of all, we'll just talk about like the systems themselves and the raids. The raids will have here they're calling them gates. They're basically checkpoints. Basically, so you know how Argos has 3 phases, right? And you have the 1370 phase, the 1385 phase, and the 1400 phase. And basically, what happens in Argos is, as long as you complete phase 1 and accept loot from phase 1, if you decide not to continue to phase 2, you can't come back later and do phase 2 that week. You're locked out for the rest of the week. In the Legion raids, that's not how it works. Volton will have 2 phases, or gates, as they're talking, as they're referring to them in this article. Basically, what it means is gate 1 will have its loot, and then if you say gate 1 takes you like 2-3 hours to clear the first time, and you're tired, you don't want to do it, you do it late at night with your friends, you're like, hey, let's come back tomorrow and do Volton, like the second gate tomorrow to fight Volton. You can do that, you know, or you're pugging and say you had a good pug group that they cleared the first gate, but they were really struggling on Volton and then they vote disbanded and you were kind of just, you know, you wanted to keep going, but the rest of the group said no. Well, now you can just go look for a gate 2, or you can set up your own gate 2 Volton raid. I mean, it creates some complications also, but I feel like once people get used to it, it won't be that big of a deal. And going forward for the Legion raids, as far as I am aware, all of them work this way, where their gates have loot attached to every single gate, and completing one gate does not lock you out of the rest of the gates if you don't continue doing it in one night. Descaluda is 1415 Guardian raid. Not much there, you know, she's just is what it is. It's a bird, you beat her up, get some loot, good to go. Basically, the looking ahead, this is basically just them saying, hey, we're just keeping things in mind. Big thing, again, it's tentative. We don't know when we're getting it in May. We don't know if we're getting them in May if they don't feel that the community is keeping up enough. This is why I wanted to talk about this later. After talking about this, I don't understand why the trial Guardian raids are not April content, personally. The fact that, because I feel like this is the solution to making sure that people are 14-15 for when these raids come out, and the fact that they're in the same month update concerns me a little bit. I don't know if it was a logistical issue where they couldn't really fit it into April stuff with like South Vern, because South Vern is also like a whole new continent, so that's a whole new extra region of materials through questing and whatever. So maybe they feel some confidence that with South Vern, players will have at least enough materials to get to 1370, or they're already in 1370, get above that to 1415. We'll see how it pans out. So I think I don't know, we'll see. I think that I imagine that what might happen is for the May update, we'll probably get like Destroyer with Challenge Guardian raids on like the May update itself, and then maybe like a week or two after they'll do the 14-15 content while giving people a week or so to get their Trial Guardian raid materials. Because again, remember, it's 3 Trial Guardian raids with each one having their own loot, so that's 3 loots a week that you get. So it's a lot. It's a lot, especially if you put it all on your main. That's a lot. So that's something to keep in mind. Basically, I'll kind of circle back to what I said at the beginning. They told us a lot without telling us, while telling us not much at the same time, right? They told us a lot in the fact that they've told us what classes we're getting that are new. They've told us that they're giving us the UI element, the quality of life improvements we've been asking for, and then they've told us specifically we're getting Southver and Descaluda and Volton. But again, they've also haven't told us very much, because aside from the classes and aside from the specifics of the quality of life stuff, we knew everything else was coming. We knew South Vern was coming. We knew Descaluda and Volton were probably coming in May, and we knew that the Challenge Guardians were coming sooner rather than later, because they had made mention about them all the way back when they nerfed some of the Guardian raids. You can go back and look if you want. The letter that they wrote about the Guardian raids for when they nerfed Guardian raids tier 1, tier 2, when they talk about Akates, where they changed the statue gimmick, they made a mention about how his challenge version will not have the statue change. So we already knew about this was coming. Again, I'm not going to complain, because even if we as a community, quote unquote, know something is coming, it is again better for them to tell us in writing officially. And so here we have it, Guardian raids. I kind of do wish they had given a specific date for the classes, though, at least for Lance Master. I think it's safe to assume Lance Master will probably be part of the April update, so probably April 14th. I would be perfectly happy if they surprised us at April 7th. It'll probably be a shit show if it's not April 14th. So I'm assuming April 14th for Safe Measure, April 7th for Copium. But basically, it's really good. I think this roadmap, it had a lot of good information. They covered a lot of good stuff. If you've been following Lost Ark for a long time, then it doesn't tell you anything new. But for new players and for the average player that probably isn't as up to date, this is a lot of information, there's a lot of good stuff. And so basically, get ready. There's a lot of stuff coming to Lost Ark. There's a lot of stuff to start taking up, doing a bit more content going forward. And this is probably like the beginning of the incline, so to speak, of probably having fun and more content and stuff like that. But yeah, so if you made it this far, thanks for watching. These videos are gonna be a little scuffed because I'm a little new to this whole YouTube thing, but I'll figure it out as I go. Let me know your thoughts in the comments. Like I'm sure plenty of you are excited for Lance Master. My Destroyer gang, like post up in the comments, like let me know. I stream Lost Ark Monday through Friday from 2 p.m. to 6 p.m. Central Time. Currently, I main Scrapper, but I'll probably hard swap to Destroyer when it comes out. So hopefully you guys can join. Maybe drop by, let me know how you feel about the roadmap and stuff like that. Let me know what plans you have for the new classes coming out and what you plan to play. So until next time, I'll catch you guys later.